Welcome back to Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle. This is episode 40 with Jacquelyn Rodriguez. Jacquelyn is a returning guest, although this time we did our interview via Zoom. And so this is a new frontier for Flushing It Out. We are switching and having this as an option. I would like to say it's because of my own choice, but it is a result of the COVID-19 and the changes that we're having. And so I appreciate Jacquelyn being willing to kind of change up the format, but I especially appreciate her sharing her insight because as a salon owner, she is heavily impacted by the changes that are going on right now with social distancing. And so I think her words, her insight are valuable to everyone because she is a calm presence. She is a positive spirit. And I just think that her words are helpful because it's coming from a place of, walking the walk. When we previously sat down with Jacquelyn, she talked about kind of having some really hard financial times and kind of coming through that on the other side with a sense of peace. And so although we are in uncertain times, when we recorded this, her salon was closed for 30 days. And now we're in the middle of this second wave of the quarantine, which as of now until June 10th here in Virginia. But I know her words are true now as they were then, which is, kind of flipping the script on everything that's going on and just kind of figuring out how we can view things so that we're not at the control of other things, that our reality can be from within. And so I think no matter where you're at, it does not ever hurt to have a calm, positive presence in your life. So join us as we chat with Jacquelyn and let's flesh it out.
Coming to you from the M&M Exterior Studio in Nooksville, Virginia, this is Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle, the introvert's extrovert. She talks to people so you don't have to. For now.
Welcome back to Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle, the introvert's extrovert. I am here with second-time repeat guest, Jacquelyn Rodriguez. Thank you so much, Jacquelyn.
Hello. Thank you again for having me back on.
Yes, you are now the first official remote guest interview, so thank you so much.
Woohoo. All right.
We will try this new format. This could become the new norm, so thank you.
I love it.
So Jacquelyn, for those that may not have heard her first episode, she is a holistic salon owner, cosmetics creator, and business coach. And our last episode, we talked all about the power of positivity, mindset, and whatnot. And I thought we could follow up with that today. And a popular episode in the past has been with Amelia Stansell, and we did an episode all about getting your stuff together. Yes. And I thought, Jacquelyn, you could speak to helping. You work with business owners. And so you help business owners get their stuff together. Mm-hmm. But I thought you have another way of coming to look at it. So versus, I know you can help with specific things with business owners, but I thought what we could talk about today is kind of the mindset stuff. What is the stuff that if people... Did someone fall down the stairs?
Yes, something. Sorry.
No problem.
That's what happens when kids are home.
Hey, everyone is in the same boat. If for listeners, because this will be airing in a few weeks, and this could be years down the road, you are listening to this. We are currently in our quarantine for COVID-19. And so it is a crazy time right now, but I thought that is why all of this mental stuff is even more important, because whether you are a business owner dealing with changes, everyone right now, I mean, we are all going through something that no one has ever in our lifetime gone through. So this mindset stuff is powerful. So Jacquelyn, thank you again for coming. Thank you for speaking about helping us get our stuff together. And so, but before we start, Jacquelyn, why don't you just real quick kind of let people know, as I said, I introduced you, but just a real quick kind of who you are, what you're about.
Sure. Yeah. So again, I'm, an intuitive healing business coach, and I also own a holistic hair and makeup salon where my whole passion is starting to bring that mindset, it's more than mindset. It is self-love, self-worth. It is changing those stories that we loop in our head of how we perceive our realities. And especially right now in this time, our realities and our outside realities are very affected right now. And I want to bring more of that inner calm and inner peace, because the only reality is what we have inside of our hearts. And as a business owner, I have lots of hats I wear all the time. I own 3 businesses. I have kids, 2 teenagers, and my husband. Like, I have life.
You have a full life. Yeah.
Yes.
Jacquelyn, can I ask something real quick? I don't mean to interrupt. You said that the only thing that matters is the reality in us, right? Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Of course.
Because because I feel like if I could imagine some listening being like, what do you mean? Because the reality is all this show that's going on around us.
It is real life. And right now, especially in this time, we're all business. We still have to take care of stuff. And our kids are out of school for
till the
long
fall.
Time.
Hopefully just the fall. Yeah.
Exactly. And we have to pivot and change, and we have to just deal with it. We got to move and go with the flow. And that really also goes off of this whole perception. Okay. My outside circumstances right now. Kids are running around. They're, dogs are all over the place. I can't exactly be in a super quiet location because of what's happening. But my perception of it doesn't have to be like stressful. Oh my gosh, like look, we are all in the same boat. People will understand. And I'm just going to chalk it up to, hey, we're doing the best that we can. And our outside circumstances right now truly are something that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
We've never had to deal with. And you can let that control and dictate how you feel, or you can flip that story, flip the loop. That's what we have the power to do. And yeah, things are crappy. I mean, I had to close my salon down for 30 days, mandatory.
Minimum right now.
Yeah,
so
minimum. So we don't know what's going to happen, but it means no income coming in. Not only for me as the owner, but for my employees, for my clients. So my perception could be doomsday. What am I going to do? I'm going to freak out. Like, I just don't know what to do with myself. Or my perception can be, this is out of my control. There is literally nothing I can do to change the situation. So I am going to take this time as a gift, because all of us run around like crazy people all the time, busy, never have time to do anything. We don't have time to carve out self-care. We don't take the time to work. Like, I'm guilty of, I never had time to work out. I have my Peloton staring me literally in my face every day when I'm sitting at my computer. So I decided to change my perception. Today I got up and I'm like, you know what? In between, I'm going to hop on the Peloton. I'm going to make time for things that I don't ever have the time to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend time with the kids, because my reality is what I am going to see and how I perceive it around me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, because I think that a lot of times we get stuck in reality being the facts. Like, this is like the salon, personal care industry is shut down. So then it means like, yes, that is the fact of what happened, but it's the after that. So because we don't have control over that, but we have control of what does that mean for us. So I appreciate you sharing that. So
of course,
especially right now, because it's real life.
it is real life, and all of us have something. And even if right now you're not going through it, at some point in your life, you went through something that you couldn't control. Mm-hmm. We literally go through things daily that we can't control.
Yeah.
But it's all in how we take that information and how we process it and what we perceive it. Because nothing has meaning except for the meaning that we give it.
Nothing has meaning except for the meaning we give it. Okay, I want to put a pin in that real quick because I think we're going to discuss that more.
Yes.
But I want to loop it back. Okay, so we talked about, because right now, thank you so much. I feel like we needed to address, even though this episode will be timeless and people will listen years down the road, I do think it's important to address the reality of where we're at right now as far as what's going on in the world. I think what's even more powerful is hearing you talk while it's actually happening. Because as you said, and I think you said this on our 5-minute blurb, our courtesy flush that'll be online. 10 years ago, you were freaking out when you went through over 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when you went through a similar circumstance. I think that's important to bring up for someone listening right now, is that you weren't always this person. You weren't always, saying these calm things. And for me, that's important because what I love about what I do and why I want to share people like you, my gift and talent is sharing others, is, if you just meet you and you don't take the time to get to know you beyond what you see, you would think, oh, she just is super calm and nothing that has ever bothered her before because her life has been so lovely. And just when you take the time to get to know people's stories, you realize, it's kind of the cliche is like the people who succeed, they're the ones who fail the most, and we talked about that on a call that we were both on. And so anyway, I just wanted to kind of wrap that up, that I'm glad we talked about where that is, because I think your voice is so powerful because you're in it. You've been through something similar before in your own life. Now we're all in something that we've never been in. And so thank you for sharing your perspective. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. That's where it makes a difference. And that's how I've been able to be a successful business owner now and go through these hard times, because the key to being a successful business owner, like we started off with saying, is, you need the steps. There are so many ways to learn how to, open a business, run a business, do all the steps. You have to have those strategic moves, right?
We've talked about it in the past with guests. We will talk about it again, is like systems. We all want to know the systems, the life hacks, the things like that. And so we've talked about them. We'll talk about them again. But there's this underlying thread that no matter how many hacks no matter how many tips you get, if your own stuff up here is not right, whether it's because if you have weight loss goals, business goals, relationship goals, all those things, you can do all the books in the world, you can do all the tips. It all comes back to mindset. And so I asked you before, I said, okay, what are your top 3 tips initially I said a business owner, but what I love about with the podcast is that anyone can benefit from it. So it's no matter what you're trying to accomplish, what are the 3 things you need to do to get your mind together, your mind stuff together?
I love, 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 love this topic because it is all the strategic things. We, as business owners, we can learn how to do a Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. We can take the class, we can know all the steps. But if we don't love ourselves, trust ourselves, and think that we're worthy, how successful do you think you're going to be? Because we have, from our childhood, from the walks of life we've been through, we have all of these things that have piled up into stories that we believe about ourselves, about our outside surroundings, about other people. We have these stories that we believe, right? And if these stories are negative and we don't have that self-love, then we can't take those systems and put them into effect the way we truly need to. And that has been my one passion even with the salon, before I became a coach, before I even knew what I was really doing, was helping other women start loving themselves, trusting, stepping out of that fear and trusting their own instinct, their own intuition, and who they really are on the inside. And those loops that we have, oh, I'm too fat. Oh, I don't want to cut my hair short because my face is too round. Or, those are the things that I heard before I started coaching. Those are all perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
They're all
How can we go
perceive.
about, exactly. So what are some ways we can go about changing our perceptions?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. Meditation is always going to be a huge, huge thing for me. And the reason meditation is so important is because it teaches you how to quiet, not just your mind, but like you get centered with you. Because when you're in meditation, you're alone.
Mm.
You only have your own thoughts running through your head. And when we are so conditioned to have these bad thoughts and we always have these bad loops and stories running through, then of course, the last thing you want to do is be alone with your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you actually center it and the more you quiet it down, you start hearing other things. You start hearing your intuition come in. And you start hearing ideas and thoughts and aspirations that you want to do. And you have to learn, it's work. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. You have to work on yourself. But being able to center yourself is the first step. Even if that is through like mantras, breathing, just walking out in nature and paying attention to the things around you.
Mm-hmm.
Super important. But you can also get help with changing those underlying stories. That's what I do with the coaching. I go in intuitively, and just because I've been where a lot of my clients are, I can help you take those stories and literally change them. Change the actual story, change the loop, so that way you're not continuing on that loop. And you start noticing when you start going down that loop, that same story, you recognize it. And what happens? You can change your perspective on it. Because even the hardest things, like the things that we're going through now, or back in 2008 when, my husband lost his job, I was 7 months pregnant and had a toddler. And I'm a hairstylist. I was a manager. You go off and you have no pay. You have no benefits. We ended up losing our house and having to relocate. All of those things that I was going through. This was before I had my peace. I was a basket case. Total basket case. Like I played victim role. Everything was happening to me. I also could not have conversations about it without just like going into, full blown.
Yeah.
And anything, even if I spilled a cup of coffee, I'm like, see, now my whole life is, terrible. Everything's happening.
It just confirms my life is horrible. Yeah.
Yes. But when I learned how to do this and change my stories, and now so many years later, I can look back on it. That entire crappy situation was absolutely put there for me.
Mm-hmm.
It changed my entire life, the trajectory of what I was doing.
For the better now, right?
100% for the better. I am I'm light years ahead of where I thought I would be because of that one situation that I perceived as negative then, but now can see what a blessing it was.
Yeah. And that's powerful.
Not cliche. Yeah.
Well, no, it's funny because as I'm listening to you, I've talked before about I love hearing different people's perspectives. And I think what's so amazing is that people come to thinking through different ways. But to me, if it's confirmed in multiple places, it kind of is like, yeah, this is good stuff. And I say that because I've been reading the Psalms every day, you know, for me with my faith. And it's funny because it talks in there a lot about looking at old ways where like God has come through in the past to get you through hard times. And listening to you share your old story, I'm like, this is why we all have to share our stories, because when you are in the pit, when you are going through a hard time, especially when it's really bad, I mean, there's things now, there's really bad stuff happening right now with the reason we're all quarantined, you know, good can come of it because I believe good can come from everything, but it doesn't negate the seriousness and the bad. And so you can easily get stuck there. But the more people share, like when you said, when you went through that was the worst time, right? Like for you, like then if someone would have been like, this is a blessing and you're going to get through, it's like, you know, you don't necessarily want to hear that when you're there, but Susan McCorkindale talks a lot about building resiliency before you need it. And so I just love that because it's like, oh yes, like with you sharing this, if someone's kind of not in a place where they want to hear it directly to them, but if they can kind of absorb those stories and trust that like, this will be for, you know, will work out. This will work out. I think that that's really powerful. So.
And where I am now, I'm being so calm and at peace with my entire income halting. Serious stuff, right? Mm-hmm. We're all going through this. Yeah. I could be a basket case again because your stories start going down these paths like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Yeah. And you know the what ifs. They get into your head and we can create, that's where stuff gets weird. Yeah. Because we can start creating these alter realities that they haven't even happened yet. Mm-hmm. And we stress and we lose sleep and we focus all of our attention on them.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, the thing is if you have those we'll call them bad tapes in your head, you can start then living to make them true. And an easy example I can think of for myself, just putting all my stuff out there, is like for me with my weight. Like I have an old tape in my head that's like, I struggle with my weight. And even just now in my head, I was like, because that's a fact. Like, well, I have, but I got into a better place. But because I didn't change those tapes, when life got stressful, I reverted back to those old ways because the old tape was, this is what you do. When you do this is who you are. And so who you are is coming back again. And just recently I was talking to someone about needing to redo the tapes like you and I are talking about. And I love, once again, the different perspective, but it's the exact same thing. So it's like, okay, people, listeners, watchers, however you hear it. So, because I had to talk about the myelin on our neurons in our head, right? Neurons, are they wrapped in myelin? But the myelin sheath that's in your brain, it creates the pathways, neural pathways. And that's literally the science behind the old tapes in your head. And that is why through meditation and journaling and writing down your goals, it's because you have to literally rewire your brain and create new myelin connections so you don't keep doing the same things. Check the science, people, on that. I'm not a scientist. It's just a conversation I had the other day. But it's like, no matter which way you look at it, whatever connects more with you, but it's the same stuff, to get through it. So
I think it's totally the same thing. I love it. And I think it's been the absolute game changer in my life. I am a successful business owner and a mother and a wife and, all of that. Who I am now is because I got rid of those tapes. I changed the loop. I took what I knew. I started focusing it on me. I use a lot of different modalities. I mean, meditation, breathing, taking time, quiet time for myself, energy work. I did a lot of energy work with others. I became a Reiki master. I also do the Akashic Records, which is our past, present, and future. It's our soul book, basically. And a lot of the loops or tapes or stories, however you want to put it, I was able to change them in the records in my energy.
Can we talk about that? Because I would say if I'm being like honest, because we're friends and I know I can talk to you honestly, that's one of those things where like, that's weird. That's one of the that's weird things.
Sure.
Or like it could be, I should say. Because I think about with energy work, that was one of those things that it before was super weird, to be something out of the norm. And now it's like becoming a lot more mainstream, things like that. Someone said something that kind of clicked in my head that I was like, oh, maybe that's not as weird. They're like how dogs read energy. Like, we've joked meaning all of society, like, oh, if my dog likes you, then I like you. And if my dog doesn't like you, and it's like, they pick up on subconscious things, like whatever it is, like, well, dang, shoot, dogs do that. So maybe there's something there. And so anyway, I just wanted to address real quick, like, okay, instead of glossing over like, this is something that's a little different, I'm just going to, cool, Jacquelyn, go on with it. I would love to take this as an opportunity for you to explain it more, because of course, I think we talked, or I was in a, we know we'll never please everyone. We're not for everyone. Yeah. We attract who we are meant to attract. But I just think there's such a great opportunity when we do have the chance to talk to people to hear kind of the different things that are going on, because for some, it'll totally be their thing. Others, I just feel like just knowing what other people are doing is also really powerful either way. So
I agree. And none of us can be for everyone. And what I do may not work for everyone, but I know that in my situation, the energy, it's like you said with the dogs, they do. So they have this sixth sense.
Mm-hmm.
If a dog can have it or animals can have it, what do you think we are? And not only that, but let's think about this. Let's really break this down. You can't see energy, so that's why a lot of people are like, that's weird. Mm-hmm. That can't be real.
Electricity, right? Wind, Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wind.
Faith.
Not only that, but gravity keeps us here. The air we breathe, we can't see it, but we know that if we don't get air, we die.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many things in life that are normal.
Mm-hmm.
But energy is just one of those things that people don't think about. But I'm sure you have been in a room where maybe a fight just broke out or there's some tension. You don't know what's going on. You just walk in and you're like, I can feel something happen. I can
cut the tension in here.
So, cutting the tension, that's energy.
Yeah.
That is energy, because we all have our own energy forces around us, and we can't see them. But when we pick up on, she seems like she's in a bad mood. She didn't say anything. She literally is just sitting there, and we pick up on that energy. Or we walk into a room that something just happened. We don't see anything, but we can feel the tension, the energy around that, because your energy changes, whether it's positive or negative or worried or sad. We can feel that without having to say any words, see anything. You can feel it. So that's your energy. And when we have high energy, high vibrations, we're in positive energy. And that's how we need to live our lives, regardless of what's going on around us, right? That's why it's so imperative what you perceive. Because if we perceive it as something negative or positive, that's what is in our energy field. That is the vibrations we're putting out into the world.
Hold on real quick. Say that one more. Like kind of just say that part, because I started to think about that. I was like, wait, what if we are perceiving stuff because of our own stuff? And I think that's just what you said. So
well, it is. We perceive things, and we either have a positive or a negative perception. But that is also what is put into our energy, and our energy is put out into the world. And just like you can feel that tension of a room, you can feel if I'm positive or negative. of what's going on. So even right now, what's happening in the world, you hop on a Facebook Live. You may not say negative things. You may be all positive words coming out. But your energy is not putting that out. And people can feel that. How do you think you can feel and a fake person or somebody being authentic? So as business owners, because we started this conversation with how do you build a good business and how are you a successful business owner? You bring it all back. Like you start with yourself, centering yourself, loving who I am. So when I come on here and I tell you that I'm calm, even though all this stuff is going on, you're going to feel it. It's authentic because my perception around what's happening is positive. Not that it doesn't mean that things are, there are things happening that I break down and I have my moments, but my overall perception of it is that we're going to get through it and we're going to be okay. But I'm only able to do that because of all the practice that I've put into place and creating that resiliency before it's needed.
So true. So true.
I've practiced it. I've been able to do this. And this is what I do and I teach my students for the coaching. How to do this before you need it, but even more so now that you're going through it. And creating those new stories. And with your energy, changing your energy, you may not be able to see it or really know what it's all about, but we also can't see air or gravity, but we believe in it wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So to kind of focus on that, to kind of wrap it up, changing your energy, changing your story, what are some concrete things people can do? And because off the top of my head, but based on a conversation I had, it was about setting goals. So kind of where you want to be, writing those things down. Those are where like some practical, or not practical, but like, I don't know, homework type things. Strategic. Yeah. Do you have a couple of things to kind of wrap up that if someone's like, I need to change these stories, I can tell, because another one for me is saying things out loud. The way I've kind of recognized where I'm at with negative tapes in my head is saying them. So then into a trusted person, because then that person back can say, they can kind of point out the things, because there's so many tapes that we have that we don't realize are false tapes. Yeah. Because to us, they're truth. They're truth. Like, I have a weight problem. That is a fact. Like, I've struggled with my weight, but why is it a fact that do I have a disorder that causes a weight problem? Like, those are the kind of conversations I've had with friends that are like, that are good mindset friends. Like, whoa, like that's a bad tape. Where to me, I would have fought tooth and nail, if that's the right term. Like, no, that's truth. I would shake you if you were here, like, what are you talking about? That's truth. And so, anyway, so just to wrap it up, to give people some kinds of walkaways is, for me, it's saying out loud, writing it down, setting those new goals, which could be affirmations, saying those affirmations. Do you have a couple more to add to that?
Yeah, the affirmations, writing it down are all very important things. Setting goals, self-care. You got to start loving you. You have to. Because if you don't love who you are, you can't change those stories.
How would you say, if someone is struggling with self-love, that's such a huge thing. And I wish it was like, we could just tell people, love yourself, and then like they love themselves. But like, what are, I know we can't tackle, that's just too much to tackle. But if someone knows that, like, if they really peel back the layers, because I know we've talked to Christina Ammerman about love, feeling loved and feeling worthy are like the two core wounds.
Yes. So
if you know that that's one of your issues, what's something someone can do today to kind of say, okay, I'm going to start moving that needle a little bit?
I would do all of the affirmations, setting that time to get quiet and looking for help. I truly believe that we can't do this all on our own. No amount of times that we say an affirmation or set that goal is going to change every story that we're telling ourselves. not only the stories we're telling ourselves, but what about the subconscious things that we don't even know are there?
Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion would be is to reach out and find help.
Mm.
And talk therapy is important. You have to be able to talk about things. But one of my little things about just talk therapy is you talk it out. You know all of these things now, but we got to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And talk therapy doesn't always give you a solution of actual change. So that is where for me, the
Mm-hmm.
energy work comes in and shifting the actual stories and the loops in your subconscious that you don't even know is happening and the conscious ones. Being able to shift that with your energy, in your energy. Also doing other things, like each thing is different for everyone. I mean, I know I've used hypnosis before to change really deep rooted stories that I tried on my own. Mm-hmm. And I know all the tools, not all of them, but I know a lot of the tools, but it's me, it's my own head. I can't change everything because we're playing both sides, right? Where we're like, no, this is reality. And the other side of me is like, no, we can change it. Let's, so really reaching out, finding someone you trust and start changing the stories and have somebody else help you do that. And that's the energy work plus the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is basically energy. It's your energy, but it's all the things that you've done in the past and what you're doing presently, and then what your future looks like for you. And changing a story that may have happened in the past starts changing your whole future.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it can, and it's in your energy. It's all subconscious energy work that I do that with. But we're focusing on things that happened in the past, things that are happening now, and how does that actually affect and change your future line of where you're going, what you're doing in life. So it can be, super simple to think of. And as long as you're open to energy work, that's where we really start making the changes. And that's where I was able to change some of those deeper rooted stories and loops that have kept me so calm now. I got help. I didn't try to do it all on my own. But then I still have my affirmations. I still have my goals and meditation. So it's kind of like the whole deal, the whole package.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you going through all that, because I think that, when you find something that works for you, you want to share it with other people. And so, we have our own, whether it's things that work for us, beliefs, things like that, of course, we want to share them. And I think that, once again, it always comes back to sharing different people's stories, and that you can take something from everyone's story. And so I love hearing you. I love right now, it's once again, this is not an accident that we are talking now, because we've been talking for months about, we need to do another show. We need to talk again, and of course now everyone's schedules are free. But to me though, it's not an accident that the first recording, which is totally outside of my comfort zone, to do it online with the world going through what it is right now, to be with someone who has walked through something, has come out a different person. And so, because that's something that I would want to encourage people, is that I hesitate sometimes being like, blessings can come from this. Because when things are devastating, it's just hard. You don't want to Pollyanna it, you don't want to just gloss over. So I want to be real, honor the really hard, crappy stuff going on, but know that good can come out of it. And so talking to you, someone who has gone through that whole thing, and can sit here in peace and calm, and it's not an act, it's genuine. I just think that that's energy, wisdom, whatever you want to call it. That's something that everyone right now needs and should absorb. So thank you so much for being willing to share. I appreciate it.
Of course. It was my pleasure. I love I love what I get to do in this world. And I know that my higher purpose is truly to make a difference in so many people's lives, to help them start seeing themselves for who they really are and what they're capable of and what they're worthy of. And all of that, we can look at it 50 million different ways. But as long as you start truly looking on the inside, loving yourself, you are worthy. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what size, shape, color, nothing. None of that matters. You are worthy of every single thing that you want. And you just have to believe it from the bottom of your heart, because every single person is worthy of success, love, intimacy, caring, support, every single one of us. And if you haven't found it yet, it's because you're just not surrounding yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people who love you, who care for you. Because the more support you get that way, the more you can start seeing, oh, maybe I can love myself. Get that loop changed. Love yourself and just do what you're here to do. Every single one of us has a purpose.
I love that. I think we could totally isolate that and make that an affirmation that people could listen to every morning, every night. Thank you, Jacquelyn. If people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
You can visit me on JacquelynRodriguez.com, and that is, I spell my name differently. So it's JACQUELYN, and then Rodriguez, RODRIGUEZ.com. Awesome. And follow me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm always posting, going live, or doing webinars to support.
And a Facebook group too. And you have a Facebook group, right?
Yes, I do. And Facebook group is Intuitive Light. Just find me on Jacquelyn Rodriguez Intuitive on the social platforms. And then I'd love to have you guys there. Reach out for support. I am here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacquelyn. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. It's like a breath of fresh air. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Please come again.
I will. Anytime you need me.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for now.
Thanks for listening to Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle. Music provided by twinmusicom.org. Song titled Night at the Dance Hall. Sound editing by me, Jeremy Spittle. A special thanks to our studio sponsor, M&M Exteriors. Visit their website at mmexteriors.com for all of your roofing, siding, and gutter needs in the Northern Virginia area. Visit our website at flushingitout.com and be sure to subscribe. This has been a Spitfire production.
That was the greatest thing I've ever heard.